Hi everyone, thanks for the intro, John. So I'm Ancha Stoodley and I'm the Neighbourhood Transformation Team Manager at Building Futures East, and we're the delivery partner on the Lifting Neighbourhoods Together programme in Walker. So Building Futures East is a small charity based in the East End of Newcastle, and we've been delivering this programme obviously for the last 4 years. So the film that we've just seen just before there was something we kind of thought we'll put something together ready for the coming up conferences. And we did 2 films, one for the 3-minute that you've just seen there, which was very much aimed at community members, so giving them kind of an insight to what they could expect when they came along to the Lifting Neighbourhoods programme. And we've done a longer version as well, which has some more conversations with community members in there too. And I think even myself, I've watched that film so many times, it still gives me goosebumps when I hear what community members actually say about coming along to the programme, what they've got out of it themselves. So just thought I'd give you a little bit of kind of information about Walker for those of you that don't know it. So Walker is a neighbourhood in the east of Newcastle upon Tyne, and it obviously coal mining began there in the early 1700s, and really since then was predominantly known for its shipbuilding industry, which declined over the past 50 years. So obviously with that decline, huge levels of unemployment, and Walker is the most deprived area in the northeast and 32nd in England. With that obviously comes high kind of crime rates, and also the higher than average levels of long-term health conditions. That just really kind of setting the scene about kind of the environment of Walker. This really goes back to, I think, what John was talking about before, about relationships and what we started with. And for us, it's been about really kind of starting with the relationships and not the services themselves. We really listen to people, and I think, I've worked in the voluntary sector for 20 years. I think we all talk about really listening to people, but I think with these living neighbours together, that's something that we really do. We go out, we knock on doors, and we really do have those conversations with people about what they really want in their lives, what are things that they're enjoying about living in Walker, what are some of the challenges, but what they would really like for them, for the future for themselves. And then we try and encourage people to come along to our treetop office, and it's a lovely office, it's very inviting, we have nice comfy chairs, we provide that warm welcome. So when someone comes through the door, they're not hit with kind of, barriers or security. What they get is a nice warm welcome from one of our volunteers who we class as a meet-and-greeter. So they come through the door, we've got a coffee urn on, we've got kind of the aromatherapy oils, but it's just a very nice and nurturing environment. And people often say it feels like home. So, people are coming in, having conversations with us. We're asset-based, not deficit-based. So I think, again, it goes back to some of the things that John was talking about this kind of almost sort of fix-it attitude. So sometimes it happens with statutory services. We're really not about that. We're trying to find out what are the things that are really, really positive in people's lives. What are they really good at that they might have forgotten? We're starting with that and providing that whole person support. And we stick with people for as long as it takes. And that can be quite difficult, I think, for other services to kind of get their head around when, we're talking about, we'll refer to you to the service, and you'll get 6 weeks of intensive support, or you'll go here and you get 12 weeks of support. We don't ever say that. But what we actually do find is that people tend to move on quicker. And we're really encouraging people into the community support rather than just that practitioner level support on a one-to-one basis. And we are in the heart of the community, so our office at Treetop Village is very much in the heart of Walker. We're next to an Aldi, the community know where we are and where to come. And we're very, very heavily, I think what we've really noticed is the importance of involving the community in everything that we do. So we have a number of volunteers we call our community champions. We've got Rachel here today, who's one of our amazing community champions. And all of our community champions have been through the programme in some respects, so they might have received some support, they might have found out about what we're doing, and they are all people that live in Walker. And I think this is really important as well. We haven't gone and said we would love some volunteers from this area or that area. They are all living in Walker and feel very passionate about change in that area and supporting people from the area as well. And a lovely quote there as well, you can see that. I couldn't thank Rachel enough, alongside the other lasses. It's been brilliant people. And that was one of the community members who spoke a bit at more length on the longer film that we showed as well. So the volunteers really are at the heart of what we're doing, and I think this is some of the learning that we've come across as well over the last couple of years. Is just that level of passion, and the community champions are bringing people in all the time. So I think if it was just myself and our health casework manager here, Claire, we wouldn't have had that level of engagement without the community involvement. I've just got some quotes up there that were shown on that film, and one that really stuck out for me. I was involved with the filming process, and I heard what people were saying about the programme, and the one that said, "I feel proud," that just stood out for me, because I thought, you know, people aren't seeing this as a service, they feel part of it, they're proud of what is happening here, because they're part of what's happening. I've met so many new people, I'm more confident, and I'm like a new person. Actually, when I didn't realise when I brought this photo up here, this is of our wellbeing group. All of these community members here are now also community champions and volunteering in the programme. And we've had our first, Sheila's come down last week to do some training. We've had our first community champions who are now trained in the holistic conversations that John spoke about before. So we've got community members who are now supporting other community members through that holistic listening, and also to that more holistic support as well. But of course we couldn't do it without all the other amazing services alongside us. So I think when we obviously started Lifting Neighbourhoods, we had to be very mindful of all the existing great work that was going on in the area. So we started with them, with some brilliant organisations. We've got the Bosty, we've got Kids Cabin, long-term kind of established organisations, and when we've been door knocking and talking to people, they've told us about how they used to go to these youth services when they were young, and how their families and their children still go. So we started with them. We started to build up the relationships, because they already have relationships in the community. Claire, our health casework manager, started going to the Boston, which is an organisation in Walker, which is predominantly around youth services, but it's done a Monday Matters group for adults and kind of parents. So Claire went along, started to build a relationship that was already there, and then started to integrate some kind of like health support. That group now, they have their own monitoring of kind of their own diets, whatever, set of scales, and then just send some results through to Claire, and that just shows that kind of like sustainability of another service taking on some of that support as well. Time donors, a bit like what John was talking about, we've had a number of different organisations who've shown a real interest in kind of being involved with the process. We've got one of our time donors who again did the training with Sheila last week, so she's now able to do the holistic conversations. And then we've had time donors in other ways as well. So Newcastle City Council Community Scheme, we've got Helen Pearson here today, has been really like integral in kind of I guess connecting us to everything else that's going on as well. And from that we were involved with the collaborative warm spaces. So initiative that Newcastle City Council had was some funding over the winter period. And we were the only kind of, I guess, area in Walker that brought different services together, so that we were able to provide provision over Monday to Thursday for the people in the area, and also bring the services together more holistically. Our building is it's the Your Home to Newcastle building. And I think when we first started, we found Your Home to Newcastle was the biggest social housing provider in the whole of Newcastle. But again, it was working very siloed, so the connections kind of were very much, you had an appointment here, you had an appointment there, and it wasn't just joined up at all. Since we've been in that building, I think we've been able to see all the great work that's been going on, the connections with the community, and are now offering more support in a more holistic way. So we've got one of the financial inclusion officers for Your Home to Newcastle, who comes along every Monday afternoon for our drop-in session. There's another programme called EPIC, which is a community safety project for Newcastle City Council. And I think again, they will find it quite difficult to connect with the community and have that relationship. And what we've been able to do is through the door knocking is kind of provide insights that we're finding. So an example of that is we did some door knocking just along from our building. A few of the houses were saying that they were having their opportunistic thieves really, so they were having their doors tried with cars, things getting stolen from the gardens, and we were able to feed that back to the ethics team, who then put on a community safety event at our treetop office, and we're able to do some flyering as well about community safety. So some of those insights that we found from the door knocking, we've been able to then let other organisations know what's going on, and then they've been able to put things on as well. Through the kind of, I guess, the connections that we've had with Newcastle City Council, we've had further discussions about the pantry model, and I know obviously this is something that Community Renewal have had great success with as well. There hasn't been any community pantries in the Walker area. There are a couple of different food banks, but we wanted to try and help the community to obviously have that kind of dignity and respect around the food provision. So we've now collaborated, and every Monday afternoon in Treetop Village is the community pantry, which is run by West End Food Bank, which has been a brilliant provision for the community. So they come in, they can go and see the pantry, they can come along to our office where we've got that one-stop shop, that neighbourhood team of support. So that Monday afternoon is a real kind of drop-in scenario for the community. We've connected well with schools, and we're invited to come around school meetings where we can kind of show what we've got available and support. And the first time we've been able to offer one of the young people in the area a work placement in year 10. So that was a family that we were supporting. We were supporting mum. She was concerned that she wasn't able to have any of the connections to find her young person a work placement. And so we kind of said, well, why not? Why can't we do that? Why can't we support a young person who's living in the area to get some insights of what it's like to work in charity? So she spent the day with us, which was brilliant. She's now been doing some volunteering over the summer with us, and we've done some park events and things like that as well. So that's been another great thing we've been able to do. And then we meet regularly with the neighbourhood police, just around obviously all the kind of things that we're getting the information from door knocking that we find in Walker, which will be similar to a lot of areas, I'm sure, is that people tell us that crimes are being committed, but they don't want to report it. They feel scared to report things. So obviously we're able to have some of those conversations with the police around kind of, trends in certain areas that they're able to then pick up on. I know John already spoke about this. So in terms of the neighbourhood team, as I said before, very, very supported by our volunteers, our community champions, alongside some of those other services. We do a drop-in on a Monday afternoon, which is very much where we have someone from Citizens Advice, we've got someone from Your Homes Newcastle doing financial support, we've got some of our brilliant volunteers, and of course Claire, our health casework manager, who's on hand for anyone dropping in. I think what we found, and again it goes back to the point that John made about that crisis support, we've been very mindful that people could just drop in and we can provide them with the food parcel, we can provide them with the small grant, but actually that isn't really about helping those longer term goals and aims for that person. So what we do now is everyone that comes through the door on our Monday afternoon drop-in, they have that initial holistic conversation with somebody. And now some of our volunteers, as I said, are now trained to do that as well. It means that more people will be able to have that holistic conversation. We can handhold them and then introduce them to that range of different services. So rather than just kind of meeting that initial crisis need, we're able to do that holistic support there and then. And we find that by doing that people continue to come back. So they'll come back for that chat, they'll come back for that further support. And I just wanted to show this sort of slight example of what is the difference? How are you managing to get people through the door? Why can't we do that when we have our drop-in? And I think it does come back to a few kind of simple differences in the way that we are working. So I've just used this bit of an example here of obviously this great person who is a great practitioner. We're not taking that away from any of the services that we work with. There's some absolutely fantastic practitioners out there. But this is kind of maybe the way that would be met with some services. So great to speak to you. I think you need to, so practitioner, you need to change this X, Y, and Z in your life, and I'll refer you on to X, Y, and Z. And then the person's left going, my mind's going like this. that analogy with all the lines before that you saw, people tell us they're confused, they haven't gone, they're then stuck on a service because they've DNA'd 3 times, but actually they're just so confused. And I guess this is probably the difference in the way that we're working. So great to see you. You told me that you would like to prioritise your housing situation. So it might be that someone's turned up and they're, have some substance misuse issues, but for them that might not be the priority. It might be the housing at that moment in time. So we're putting that empowerment back onto the person. And is that right? So we're asking them, have I heard you right? If this is really what you would like to change? And I can introduce you to my colleagues that can help you with this. And it is very much a hand-holding exercise. We will advocate, we will go along with people to different appointments. We don't leave them to go along on their own. And then you can see how that feels more comfortable for the person. Yes, that's that would be great as I feel comfortable coming here now. And that housing support, it gets done. And people they do tell us that they feel that they're really well supported in that. And I guess obviously just some figures, people like some figures to know what's really going on. Because of all of that, this is I guess what's been achieved so far. 11 supported into volunteering with LND, so we have 11 community members who are volunteering with the Lifting Neighbourhoods Together programme, which I think is phenomenal. Some of those volunteers are leading community groups, so we've got 12 community groups. They are all set up through the conversations we've had with the community. So I don't go, wouldn't it be great to set up a group on this in Walker, and then no one turns up, and we all go, why's no one turned up? And we listen to what people tell us in the doors. If they would like something different in their community, we try and enable them to make that happen. We'll do that with all the support, and then we try and help them to get that group to be self-sufficient. There's some small sparks funding in the area at the minute, and that is really to enable these small groups to get established, to get independent. So we have all these pockets of groups that will be set up over the next couple of years, and will hopefully help the place feel just a really nice place for people to live. And because the volunteers are doing that, they're connecting with other people in their own area, which is brilliant. And I think obviously we've knocked on a lot of doors. We've knocked on 3,600 doors, which is great, and we've been able to have those conversations. I think something that struck me as well when we started knocking on doors is that people in the area they're very proud. You often hear people, Geordie's from Newcastle, very proud community, but it really is. And some people that we talk to, some people are really happy because their neighbours look, they like their neighbours or they like their immediate family. And that's brilliant that we're hearing all that great stuff. But for some, they just don't want to leave their house. They're scared, they're frightened. And for those people, those are the people that we're really trying to kind of get out and come along to where we are. And I think this one's huge as well. Obviously that is actually higher now. It's more like £200,000 worth that we've helped to maximise people's incomes in the area, and that's only in the last year. And that's been through partnership working, but also through our amazing volunteers. And our amazing volunteers really know the system as well. So know the benefit system and know kind of where we need to support people. We've had so many applications that have been made, mainly through Rachel, our volunteer, and they've all been successful. And that's been because we've been able to go on and help people through through the assessment process, through the bigger picture of what else is going on in their lives as well. But that really is important to people. And I'm just going to finish with a couple of quotes. So I've contacted a couple of our partners and just asked them to kind of just give me what they felt about lifting neighbourhoods together. So one, this is kindly from Helen. Put simply, the Lifting Neighbourhoods project and the dedication of the staff team in Walker has changed the lives of local people for the better, in some cases forever. The difference for me is clear. They have time for people. They are invested. Residents go on a journey which doesn't happen overnight, but that's fine. Trust develops, change happens, and they see it through. You can see by the level of volunteering and the buzz about the place at the treetop base that change is happening. People want to be part of it. The connection with the local authority which has been made is a crucial two-way relationship. This can only improve with continued partnership working and the continued promotion of the excellent work in the right places. It's been a pleasure for me to be a part of this piece of work. Wherever possible, I want to link the project and be linked. This, for me, is the way to make lasting change in an area, to build trust, to help people to help themselves, to work in partnership, to share resources, and to give time. And another one from Linda Nelson from the EPIC team. The Lifting Neighbourhoods Together programme stands out from most. They take the time to get to know the community. From hail, rain or shine, they are out, they are knocking on doors, they are interested in what community members have to say, they strive to help those in need and will follow through anything that is being asked. I have seen an amazing transformation before my eyes. They are a great group of volunteers who work hard for the community. Many projects, sessions and groups are being run by the volunteers creating sustainability. Walk community needed a project like this for a long time. I believe the community feels like a community now. They feel they have a voice, that they can make a difference, giving them a sense of ownership that has lifted the morale of the community's well-being. It's quite a powerful quote. So obviously I'm around for the rest of the day, so anyone who wants to come and have a chat, you're very welcome. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll be on the panel later on as well for any questions.